welcome back to another video, and if you're new, welcome. So I want to show you guys how to make this chocolate covered strawberry, or just a regular one if you don't want chocolate covered. It's a very quick project that whips up in about 20 minutes or so, and it's pretty small. I wouldn't say it quite keychain size, but if you made it with a smaller yarn like Parfait Chunky or Hobby Bunny, the Hobie's Hobby Honey Bunny yarn, I think it's called, that would make it perfect for keychains. But yeah, let's get started and I will show you how to make this. So we're going to need some supplies. Of course we're going to need yarn. I am using Burnett blanket yarn. So you're going to need green, of course, for the stem. And I'm doing a pink for the strawberry today. And also brown for the chocolate part if you're making chocolate. If you're not doing a chocolate covered strawberry, you're going to start right away with the pink. If you're doing a chocolate, you're going to start with the brown. Then you're going to need a 7mm crochet hook, or if you're doing a smaller yarn, whatever size you use that works with your yarn. Also a sewing needle and a stitch marker, and of course a scissors to cut the yarn. So yeah, let's get started. So if you are doing a chocolate covered strawberry, you're going to start right away with the brown. If you're not, you're going to be starting with your pink or red or whatever color you're making your strawberry. So we're going to start with a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, you're going to take the yarn and loop it over your fingers like that. And then you'll stick your needle in under here and grab that yarn and pull up a loop. And then you're just going to chain one. And you got your magic loop. So then we're going to put 6 single crochets into this magic loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then to close up the magic ring, you're going to grab this little tail here and just give it a gentle tug. You don't want to pull it too hard or you'll end up ripping your yarn. And there you have it. You close it. It's all closed up. So for the next round, you're going to, I usually like to count back my stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just to make sure I'm getting in the right one. We're going in there, and we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So make sure you have your stitch marker handy because you're going to need it now. So we're going to put that in there, and then the next stitch we're going to do 1 increase. So in this one, and I like to crochet my ends in just a little bit so you don't have to go ahead and sew them in later. So we're going to do an increase, and then 1 single crochet, and then an increase, one single crochet, and an increase. You're going to do that 3 times the whole way around. And you should have 9 stitches at the end. So then for the next round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and an increase. So go 1, and make sure you put your stitch marker back in. So you don't want to forget where that first stitch is. So then we're going to go 2 and an increase. I'm just going to do that the whole way around. You should have 12 stitches after this round. Okay, so I'm back at the end of the round, and you should have 12 stitches after this round. So then for the next round, we're going to do another increase round. We're going to go 3 single crochets and an increase. So 1, 2, 3, and increase. Okay, so at the end of round 4, you should have 15 stitches. So the next round is an increase round as well. We're going to be doing 4 single crochets and then an increase. 1, and always make sure to put your stitch marker back in. 2, 3, and 4, and then an increase. I'm going to do that 2 more times. And you should have 15. So now that we're at the end of round 5, we are going to be changing to our pink yarn. So we're just going to fasten off. I'm going to take my stitch marker out and do a slip stitch. And cut the yarn. You don't really need to leave yourself a tail at all. And just pull that through there. Now I'm going to take my other yarn and I'm going to fasten it, or start right here. So I'm going to put my needle in and I'm going to get my pink yarn. And I'm just going to pull up a loop like that. And then go right into this next stitch, right where we slip stitch there. And we're going to just single crochet around. So just 1 stitch in every stitch for 6 and 7. So for the next 2 rounds, we're just going to do 1 single crochet and stitch the whole Alright, so I'm back at the end of round 7. I did the last 2 rounds in pink. So now we're going to be decreasing. So we're going to do 1 single crochet and then a decrease. Now I like to do invisible decreases, which is you just get the front loop. So there's 2 loops, you just grab just the front loop of each one, and that makes an invisible decrease. So we're going to do that the whole way around. Now that you're back at the end of round 8, you should have 12 stitches. So then for round 9 is also going to be a decrease round. We are just going to decrease the whole way around. So we're just going to decrease the whole way around. And you should have 6 when you're done. Alright, so now you're all done decreasing, you can go ahead and take that stitch marker out and fasten off. So for me, how I fasten off is I just do a slip stitch like that and then cut my yarn. You need to leave a couple inch tail for sewing it closed, and then just pull the yarn through there like that. There you go. Now you can go ahead and stuff it, and then we will make the leaves. So when you're stuffing it, you probably don't want to fill it too full. I like to fill it that it's nice and firm and yet not hard. You don't want it to be terribly soft either, because then it will get really soft over time. So I just like to stuff enough stuffing in that it's nice and firm without being hard. So then you can go ahead and sew it closed. So when you're sewing it closed, as you can see, there's 2 loops. I just like to grab just the front one and just pull that tight. Pull that hole tight and stick this down in. There you go. Now you can just cut this off. Alright, so we're going to have to make a magic ring again. So, you take it over and loop it over your fingers. Stick it under your needle under the first one and grab that second loop and pull it through. And there you have your magic ring. So, as I said before, you chain 1, and I just like to pull that tight. Then we're going to put 5 single crochets into the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And grab this loop to pull it tight. Pull that nice and tight. And then I always just count back 6 stitches just to make sure I'm getting in the right one. And then you slip stitch into this one. Pull that yarn through and slip stitch. And then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then do a slip stitch in the second one. So you're going to skip this one right here, and you're going to go into this one and do a slip stitch and a single crochet and a half double crochet. And then you're going to go into your next loop, which is right here, and do another slip stitch. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, skip that loop right there and go into the second one. Do a slip stitch, single crochet, and then a half double crochet. And then just slip stitch into the next one and repeat And you're going to do that for the next 3 stitches till you have 5 of these petals. Okay, so now when you get back to that last one, you're going to go and slip stitch into the base of the first one. So right here is like that first slip stitch you did. You're going to go and slip stitch into that one. It can be a little bit hard to get it through. There we go. And make a slip stitch. Now make sure you leave yourself a nice long tail because you're going to be sewing this thing on. And I always end up not leaving myself a long enough tail. So just make sure you get enough long enough tail. And pull it tight. Now, you might want to go and sew this tail in a little bit. Sometimes I just tuck it in under and sew that on so that I don't have to sew it in. But it might be hanging out, so I'm going to go ahead and sew it in. Okay, so get that lined up right in the center. Try to make sure it's right in the center. And then I take right where that string is coming out, go down in here, and come up over here. It's like right at the base of the stem where it connects to the magic ring there. And then I poke into the leaf. I make sure I catch underneath there. And come back up down here. Try to keep it lined up on the other side because sometimes when you're doing that, pull more to this side. And then just poke down in there. Come up over here. And poking at the top here. Poke down here. And just keep doing that the whole way around till you did that for all 5 petals. And on this side, make sure you keep it tugged down far enough or it will be lopsided and it'll be further over this side than it is on this one. There you go, now that's sewed down, and then I just stick it into the center, like that, and go ahead and snip that off, because we are all done with the leaf now. Now we just need to put the white glaze thing on there. So go ahead and get your white yarn and cut a couple inch tail. Okay, so I went and got myself a couple inch tail. And you're going to want to find the front of your strawberry because the back is going to have that in where your color changed there. It's not terribly noticeable, but it's still noticeable, so you kind of want to put that in the back. And then I'm just going to go in over here and come up there. Doesn't really have to be perfect, but... And then I just take it over here. I'm poking here. Then we're going to go back over here. Not quite the whole way over. I'm coming down just a little bit. And then I come back over here. Into this one. And then come back out over here by this one. This side. Like that. And then you won't come the whole way over. You come out in about here. And bring your tail back out. There you go. And then I like to knot my tail. Pull a little bit tight so that it doesn't come popping out over here. Snip the excess off, and I use my scissors to stick this tail back in. Can just loosen that up a little bit. And there you go, a chocolate covered strawberry.